Get your ex back. 4 Steps of How to Get Your Ex Back into Your Relationship. Written by Rita Chester. Narrated by Sangeeta Chauhan. Introduction. I was definitely not going to leave out an opportunity to write a book about this topic. Because guess what? I got my ex back and I married him. Looking back at the moment we broke up, the tears and the confusion, it would have been so comforting to realise that only about 6 months later, he would propose to me in Paris, the city of love, causing tears of happiness instead. Let me assure you that the things I will tell you have been proven and tested. They can work, and they have worked for many. However, I cannot promise that they will always work. Some people just made up their mind and don't want to look back. It depends on the nature of the relationship and so many things going on that it's hard to always pinpoint each and every individual situation. Saying that, however, why would you not increase your chances? If you wouldn't want your ex back, you wouldn't even read this book, would you? So let's get started. These principles have led me from being all alone to a beautiful wedding dress and a happy husband. Married for more than 3 years now, with a cute baby daughter. Chapter 1. Evaluate your reasons. In this chapter, I want to point something out that you might not have thought about. Why do you even want your ex back? I mean, wasn't he or she mean to you? And don't you deserve someone else if your ex doesn't want you anymore? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to talk you out of it. What I am trying to do is make you think about how important it really is for you. What made your ex so special that you don't want to move on? That is a pretty important question to ask yourself. Additionally, what makes you think you're in his or her league? But you were before, weren't you? That's why your ex chose you or agreed to be in a relationship with you. But yes, before you dive into your adventure, think about why you want your ex back. Now that you know your ex can break your heart, you know that it's not all fairy tales and happiness. You know your ex can hurt you, even if you get back together, and even if you stay together. Nobody is perfect, and we all have our grouchy, distant, cold moments. Nobody is always nice or always deals with the situation in the best way. So you probably thought of this before, but just put some of those things together before you do anything else. For example, you could answer these questions. Name the top 10 reasons why your ex is worth going back to. Name the top 10 worst qualities in your ex. Breaking up doesn't count. If you were to be a couple again, where would you see yourself in 1, 5, 10 or 20 years? What are some characteristics you find unattractive about your ex? What are some of the best characteristics your ex has? Is your ex loyal when he or she finally decides to give it another try? Have you broken up a lot of times before? This is often a bad sign. What is the main reason your ex doesn't want you anymore? Ask yourself these questions and write them down. Very important. This will give you a better perspective on how things really are and what the future could hold. In the next chapter, we'll talk about one crucial question you need to ask yourself to solve the puzzle. Chapter 2. What went wrong and why? There are so many books that talk about alpha males and hard-to-get tactics. We'll get into those a little bit in the next chapter. Those can help, depending on the situation. But I'm not a firm believer in just tactics by themselves. It's like the movie Hitch. He thinks he got it all figured out, and trust me, the main character played by Will Smith definitely has some truth in his approach. But it's not everything, and that becomes clear towards the end of the movie. What works for some might not work for others. Why? Because everyone is different. Society likes to draw these stereotypes about men and women based on the majority or a higher percentage. Stereotypes could include 1. Women are more focused on romance and men on erotica. 2. Women look more at a man's income than vice versa. 3. Women care more about details when men see the bigger picture. 4. Men don't get as emotionally connected as women. 5. Men don't like to talk about their problems as much as women. I am sorry, but I don't care about stats or the majority. There are so many cases where all of these points and others are straight out lies. I know men who are very romantic, women who are lustful, women who don't care about how much a man makes, and men who care too much about money. I know women who think big, and men who are focused on details. I know men who get emotionally connected, and women who are distant. I know a lot of men who would talk about their problems more if people would only listen to them, and women who just fine and don't want to be dramatic. So no, these are not always true. There are some very good books about the differences between men and women. And even these are just in the general sense. Check them out here. Understanding Men, Understanding Women. These books can help you understand yourself better as well as your partner. Okay, so everyone is different. So it's up to you to figure out what exactly went wrong. Hold on a minute. You may think that something is the problem when there are more things going on. When I look back at the relationships I've had, I recall one of my exes that I never got back. And when I think about it, the main reason was that I didn't want him back anyway. There were too many problems. We had been dating for 1.5 years, and it just became worse over time. The fact that it took so long to solve them, and that they never got solved, was just one reason why it wasn't a good idea to get back together. It would have taken decades to figure out all our issues at the pace we were going. There was too much, and although it seemed that at the end of our relationship, there was only one particular issue mentioned, the truth was that we had too many differences in opinion, future planning, and goals in life. It just wasn't right. My other ex, however, was a quick breakup. It happened too fast. And it was even long distance. It didn't make any sense, and we didn't really have closure. Things hadn't been talked over. Hurt feelings and ego were the most important things standing in our way. Think about your problems rationally. Are they problems you can live with, or do they need to be solved? Where did the problems come from? Think about the fact that your partner comes from a different family, with different views, habits, and perspectives. What lies at the core of your differences? Are the problems between the two of you so big that it would take a long time to solve them? Now, if the answer is yes, this doesn't mean I advise you to back off. I am just saying that you need to be in foreseeing mode. Try to see where this would go if you got back together. Put the pieces of the puzzle together. He or she said something that was based on something that happened. Trust was broken. Harsh words were spoken. And one of his or her core beliefs or desires in life was damaged. His or her needs weren't met, and as a consequence, one of you backed off. Many times, partners break up because of miscommunication or hurt feelings, and those came because of past experiences. For example, I told my ex that I didn't see us getting married until 1 year from that time. But he previously had an ex-girlfriend that kept postponing important decisions and eventually dumped him. My delayed view of the future was a sign to him that I didn't want him anymore, and that I was just trying to have him break up with me. His past experience with his other ex had dictated his interpretation of my delayed vision, and because of it, we broke up. Also, I was young and stressed out because of college and moving, so my mind was a little scrambled anyway. And it didn't help him to trust me being with college guys in the same room, especially since his brother had had a relationship with a very manipulative ex. Trust was gone and we broke up. There were so many stupid reasons why we did, and they were all based on past, recent experiences and conclusions we had drawn from what we said to each other. So keep that in mind. What happened before you came along? What are the experiences of your partner with other exes he or she has had? Or examples of relationships he or she sees in her family's or friends' lives? Those are a major contributor to the way your ex perceives the relationship. and now you want your partner back. Did it happen too fast? Is there more to you than he or she sees? And then the million-dollar question. How do you open your partner's eyes? Let's talk about that in the next chapter. Chapter 3. Subtle Tactics. Your conduct is extremely important. Your partner doesn't want you, or your partner isn't sure anymore if he or she wants you. This means the following. 1. Everything you say and do now needs to send the message that you are a good catch. This means that you have to be careful of what you say and do, and that watch your words when you are grouchy, complain, or say anything negative whatsoever. 2. You cannot come across as needy or desperate. Confidence is the key. Your partner needs to feel that you are strong enough to get over him or her if you have to. The message to your partner has to be, I would like you back, but even if that's impossible, I still have a life. I have self-worth, and I know I am a good catch, so I can move on. This is the reason why people sometimes ditch someone and then become jealous when someone else is interested in them. If someone is being desired, then it must mean that he or she has something to offer. Keep this in mind. 3. Attention matters, but too much attention is pushy. You will need to find the balance. This is one of the most essential things to winning your ex back. If you ignore your ex, he or she will not feel appreciated. If you constantly bother your ex, then you come across as a loser who has no life. Balance, balance, balance. 4. Talking about balance. The balance has already shifted since the two of you broke up. You cannot be around your ex or contact him or her as much as you used to. The breakup means that your ex needs space, so be okay with keeping your distance a little more than before for a while. 5. In the last chapter, I mentioned that your ex's needs weren't being met in your relationship. Knowing what those needs are helps you find out what you should work on. Were you too fat or sloppy in your appearance? Then do something about it. Were you not dressing yourself to be attractive? Fix it. Were you not social enough? A workaholic? Too lazy? Wasting money? Too uptight about things? Are you addicted to something? Is your temper bad? Don't you talk enough or too much about your problems? Do you complain? Were you reliable? Change. There is something about you that your ex doesn't like. So instead of saying, that's just me, say, that was me before, but I decide to be different then. I cannot even begin to say how much I have changed over the years. Everyone can change. 6. Your gesture has to be big, but not sudden. Do you understand what I am getting at? It has to be subtle and slow. You can contact him or her once or twice during the day, and then once or twice the next day. Don't send tons of messages, and then, when it's time to open up, show him or her something big to make him or her feel special. Go a little over the top with money, effort and time. This will at least catch his or her attention. 7. Don't bring up the past too much. You are working on a new future. More about this in a later chapter. 8. For women, send flowers, chocolates, surprises, or a hot air balloon ride. Starting to date again is the key. 9. Physical contact. I would do that after you are clear about where this is going. You don't want to get hurt again. So wait with that kiss you're longing for until you've talked. Chapter 4. The long talk. It all leads to this. At a certain point, you're going to want to talk about the future. You need this for closure, for expectations, and being on the same page. If you don't do this, there will be miscommunication and confusion. Whether your ex is ready for the long talk depends on many factors, and I cannot go into all that, because, like I said, each person is different. He or she may not want to talk at all, because according to your ex, there is nothing to talk about. I remember when my ex and I had the long talk. It went on for 5 hours. It matters because if you've been separate for a while, plenty of thoughts go through your mind, as well as the other's mind. Here are some things that could be discussed in the long talk. 1. What went wrong and why? 2. How to do it better in the future. 3. Apologies and confessions of why you or your ex got hurt. 4. Things you said and what you meant by it. 5. How you have changed. 6. Where you think this relationship is going and in what time period. No definite promises, but just a what if. 7. What you've been up to in the time you weren't together. 8. Other men or women you have been dating since you broke up, if applicable. 9. What you like about each other. 10. Fun and cherished memories about the time you two were together. Mention that it was one of the best times in your life. 11. Reasons why you want your ex back. 12. What you'll do different this time. 13. Practical things like location, contact, money, job, limits. 14. Agreement on physical contact. Awkward. I know, but don't avoid this. 15. Compliments. Don't forget those. Science and research have pointed out that when someone knows another person likes him or her, there is a much higher chance that person will like him or her back. In other words, don't be afraid to let your ex know you are really into him or her. It has to be mentioned. It's that balance I was talking about earlier. You don't want to come across as needy and desperate, or as the lesser desirable one of the two. Your ex doesn't want to marry down, or even have a relationship with someone that is below his or her league. Avoid words like, I need you, or I am nothing without you, or something. That's too much. Saying things like, I love you, or I like you, or I always appreciated that, or what made our relationship so special, in my eyes is. Other tips for the long talk. 1. You want this talk to be the best. Avoid ego or arrogance. Avoid accusations and don't blame your ex for things that went wrong. You don't want your ex to be defensive. You don't have to overemphasize that it's your fault either. Just a simple apology and a promise of doing things differently can suffice. 2. Dress up nicely. Put some cologne or perfume or deodorant on your body. You want your ex to be visually attracted to you and not be turned off by your smell. Top notch. You have to look and smell like a good catch. 3. Don't talk about other exes. Just avoid it. Even if they are an issue if you bring it up. It means you are thinking about him or her. But you shouldn't just be focused on your ex. The only way you can talk about it is if your ex brings it up. Then just be brief about it. And reassure your ex that you only want him or her, not the other one. 4. Talk about the future. Your hopes, your dreams, your plans. This talk is about expectations. You want things to be clear. 5. Choose the right setting. Do not do this over Skype or other internet platforms. You have to meet in person at a place where the two of you can be alone. It's okay if it's public, as long as it's far enough from everyone else that nobody can eavesdrop. No TV and no phone. If you hear your phone buzzing, you ignore it. In this day and age, people often feel ignored because others are simply checking their demanding phone messages. 6. Sit across from each other or next to each other. Listen intently, nod and paraphrase some things he or she says. Smile occasionally, but not freakishly. Empathize and tell your ex that I would feel that way too in that situation. This is better than saying, I know how you feel, because you don't always know. However, saying that you would feel the same way tells your ex that you approve of his or her emotion and that they make sense and did the right thing. 7. A small gift, for women, could help, but don't put too much emphasis on this. Food, for men, usually helps too. It creates happiness hormones in the brain if you bring his or her favourite food, shake or drink. 8. No smoking, alcohol or coffee. A lot of people, while they sip on coffee or inhale some nicotine, have a different attitude. Some focus on the addiction, others listen less intently, and I've even seen some people get more defensive because a certain attitude can come with it. Avoid this at all times. This is not the time to do this. Of course, if your ex insists, then you cannot refuse that he or she does it, but it's better not to do this. 9. Humour can help. Don't laugh about your own jokes. Don't make fun of your ex. Be careful with puns. The best humour is to lightly make fun of yourself and be confident about it at the same time. A lot of people don't get this, but when you can laugh about some silly mistakes you made and not be worried about it, it creates a great deal of sympathy towards you in another's mind. The best stand-up comedians do it. 10. I can't emphasise this enough, but you need to bring up good memories you had together. You can also talk about the people you both like, people you both don't like, etc. But don't talk about people you like and your ex doesn't, or people you hate but your ex doesn't. I think this is obvious, but this is just a reminder. After the long talk, the both of you should be more aligned. Be conscious about what you talk about and what conduct you show, and how you come across as a person and potential partner. Practice in the mirror if you must, and try to hide how nervous you are. If you know what to expect from the future and from each other's attitudes, there is a higher chance that trust can be re-established. But after that, it's not over yet. Chapter 5. Be patient. After the long talk, or the time you recontact each other, your ex may still need time to think. This is what happened to me. I told my ex I wanted to try it again. We started dating, Skyping, and hanging out together. But even after several weeks of regular contact, and having discussed everything there was to know, he still didn't want me back yet. We were in that awkward state what Facebook calls, it's complicated. You see, his trust had been broken, and he just needed some time. We'd kissed each other a few times in those weeks, but that still wasn't enough. Sometimes people move too fast with physical contact, and others just move too slow. I had an ex like that too. It was awful. For each couple and each person, it's different, so try to sense where the balance is in your potential relationship. So yeah, I had to wait, and it wasn't easy. I just wanted to get back together, to have physical contact like we did before, and not all this confusion. Personally, I thought he was slow, but hey, he needed that time. And eventually, he took me back, which, within a couple of years, led to our marriage. What I am trying to say is that everything happens at the right timetable. Call it the hand of God, fate, the universe, meant to be or something else. I don't care. Patience is going to be a tough trial if your ex still has to think about it, but it can sure pay off. Some people try to force things to happen by contacting their exes more often. You must avoid this. Like I said, find the balance, and then if it feels like torture, make sure you have a life. Make money. Work hard. Practice your hobby, your sport, your passion, or hang out with other friends. Another thing to avoid. Don't try to make your ex jealous. This generally doesn't work. Sure, it can make them want you for a little while, because others see something in you, and perhaps this can have a short-term effect. But if they even sense a little bit that you're doing it on purpose, they will have you for it. Don't talk about what other people say about you as a couple. People know nothing. They just engage in small talk. That's it. I've heard people say things about me and exes that didn't work out, like, "You two look so happy together." So what? We didn't end up with each other, and there are good reasons for it. Everyone can look happy or cute together, but that doesn't mean they're going to build a future with each other. Also, People just say things based on what they heard. My mother hated my ex because he was 10 years older. My now brother-in-law hated me because I had broken my ex's heart. Those people only know so much. They don't understand all the communication, the memories, and the potential between the two of you. So use your own judgment when it comes to relationships. How long are you willing to wait? I think you should wait as long as your partner says he or she needs. As long as your partner says he or she needs. If that becomes too long, then talk about deadlines and moving on. But don't be forceful or dominant. Chapter 6. Back together? You're not there yet. Are you back together? Congratulations. You made the first step. But listen, you aren't even close to sealing the deal yet. After all, you've had a breakup before, so it can always go wrong again. This is not the time to relax and just be yourself in the worst ways. This is the time to show your ex that he or she made the best decision ever by accepting you back. So many people don't understand this. They think it's over when they have been accepted into their ex's life again. They think they won, and that things will go smoothly from that time on. They won't. Sure, your chances of staying together have improved, but your ex is still skeptical. Your ex doesn't want it to go wrong like it did last time. The doubts and fears from the past are still secretly hiding in the back of his or her brain. What do you have to do to stay together? Well, it's simple. Watch your words and your actions. Here are some tips that will help you keep your ex the second time. If anything, you want to do whatever you can to avoid another breakup. It will hurt you again, and you don't want that. So take this advice to heart. 1. First of all, the reason why your ex took you back needs to be re-emphasized in their mind. What is your best quality? And why did he or she take you back? Were you sweet and considerate? Successful? More devoted? Charming? Diligent? Calmer? A better listener? Did you take better care of yourself? Did you dress in a more attractive way? Which needs did you fulfill that he or she not seeing fulfilled right before the time you broke up? Focus on that and do not fall back into the old pattern. 2. Date a lot. Have fun together. Talk much and about everything. The best way to make a relationship long-term is by creating happy memories. Those memories will form attachments in a human's brain, and those are the ones a person feels happy with. Memories, memories, memories. Take pictures, laugh a lot, and do things that are special. When I was dating my boyfriend, now my husband, he stood out. He took me to a lot of different places, had various activities planned, organised a romantic dinner, and even spent a few $100s, which was a lot to him, on a hot air balloon ride, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We still have a lot of pictures dating back to that time period. 3. As time elapses, the whole purpose of this new being back together period is to have your ex forget the old you and embrace the new you. Again, be patient and be your best self, so that his or her perception or image of you will change in a more positive way. 4. Avoid telling everyone immediately that you are together. Remember that it recently was more important to you than to your ex. Remember that it was recently more important to you than to your ex. Instead, just don't mention it and let your ex have the floor when the topic comes up. 5. Take the blame. If anyone brings it up, just mention that the breakup was mostly or all your fault, with a smile. Even if that's not entirely true, it shows that you are not bitter about your hurt feelings and that you are mature enough to get over it. 6. Be extra tolerant, friendly and helpful. You want your partner to feel that he or she will have an easier life because you are in it. 7. Just be each other's best friends, like old times. When my partner and I got back together, it was as if we were old friends and had something in common, namely the good memories of the past. We felt connected pretty quickly. Chapter 7. Shape the future and forget the past. The point of getting back together is that you'll stay together. The past? Well, relationships never happen without a little drama, so don't worry about that. The future is what matters. I've seen so many couples who went through rough times and ended up being married for 30 or 40 years, dying with a smile on their faces. Life can be rewarding if you can have a fulfilling relationship. So how are you going to shape your future? Well, once you feel safe with each other and trust has been re-established, eventually you're going to talk about your future together. Think about things like, where will you live and why? How much are you or your partner going to work? How many kids will you plan on having? Or will you just decide one kid at a time? How do you view your family and in-laws? How much attention and time or money do you expect to give to your family and in-laws? What is your dream house? Your dream vacation? Your dream job? What are you afraid of that could go wrong? Will you have any pets? Are you on the same page when it comes to religion? What patterns have you or your partner copied from your parents, and which behaviour do you still need to work on? Have you talked about sex and your expectations and fantasies concerning that topic? What would you do if you had a lot of money? Are there things you can work on in your communication skills? What is your ideal daily routine? How will you divide tasks like cooking, cleaning, doing dishes, taking care of the baby, yard work, fixing things, groceries, laundry, paying bills, doing taxes, etc.? Chapter 8. Make it long term. Classic examples of breakups happen when people go too fast or too slow. Let's face it, nobody wants to wait forever, and most times, trust grows gradually. So going too fast, which is probably what happens more often, is a common mistake too. To make it happen in the long run, you have to be A. Committed. Stay true to your partner. B. Relax. If you want it too badly, it can backfire on you. C. Willing to make sacrifices. We both made sacrifices when we got married. My husband moved far away from his family to be with me, and we live close to my family, which he doesn't always like. There was a lot of money needed for travelling, arranging the wedding and other things. At the time, my husband was slowly getting less freelance work from his employer, so our budgets became tighter. But those sacrifices are precisely what make a marriage work. D. Communicating a lot. Miscommunication is one of the primary reasons that arguments arise and relationships fail. It was miscommunication that brought our relationship down, and better communication that helped us get back together. E. Honest. You can never cheat on, hold information from, or deceive your partner in any way. Relationships are based on trust. My mother-in-law used to say that trust comes as a pedestrian and leaves on a horse. It takes longer to build up trust than to destroy it. That's just how people are. Work on building that trust. If you have any confessions, addictions, important stories from the past, or anything your partner would want to hear, then at the right time, he or she needs to hear it. F. Impressive. Keep impressing each other. Never let your awareness die that your partner was impressed by you at first, and that if you do things that turn your partner off, they become part of his or her image of you. Keep your emotions in check. Don't throw tantrums. Don't yell. Don't panic. Keep your disgusting body habits, nose picking, bathroom habits, etc. to yourself. Have good manners. Be courteous. Be friendly. Be playful and happy. Complain less. Worry less. Work hard. And work on your dream life together. G. Consistent. Guys, your partner will want to keep hearing that you love her. Say it often. It doesn't matter that she already knows. She wants to hear it being confirmed. Girls, a man wants to hear that you're proud of him every time he does his best. Keep emphasizing it. In a general sense, women want to be valued for who they are the most, which becomes apparent in all those commercials where they say, "You are worth it." Men care a lot about their performance. Remember Batman said, "It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me." I wish you good luck on your journey in life. hopefully with your regained partner. If I would have seen the future when I wanted him back, it would have comforted me. No matter what happens, always stay positive. It was only a few years ago that I thought my ex never wanted to talk to me again. Now we have 2 kids, a solid marriage, a big bank account, and a house in a safe place. We didn't have any of that back then, and we weren't even together. Things can turn around. If they don't, things happen for a reason, so even then stay positive. Breakups are hard. It's a loss, and people sometimes forget that you have to mourn over losses. You have to grieve to feel better, and have your psychological self accept it. But sometimes it's too early to grieve, and if you play it right, using the tactics and concepts I've taught you in this book, you can get your partner back and turn this whole thing around. It is my story. Perhaps that will be your story as well. Thanks again for buying my book. If you have a minute, please leave a positive review. You can leave your review by clicking on this link. I take reviews seriously and always look at them. This way, you are helping me provide you better content that you will love in the future. A review doesn't have to be long, just 1 or 2 sentences and a number of stars you find appropriate. Hopefully 5, of course. Also, if I think your review is useful, I will mark it as helpful. This will help you become more known on Amazon as a decent reviewer, and will ensure that more authors will contact you with free ebooks in the future. This is how we can help each other. Take a look at these other books too. Worrying, Self-Esteem for Women, Personality Types, Emotional Mastery, Compatibility Test, What Women Want in Men. This has been Get Your Ex Back, 4 steps of how to get your ex back into your relationship. Written by Rita Chester. Narrated by Sangeeta Chauhan.